here in some part of Ohio. It's Mikey's family house. He's got this big old garage here. We're going to talk about his Challenger, which is one of my favorite cars. He built it himself, piece by piece, in a Brooklyn apartment garage. Well, let's see it. One of my favorite cars that actually gets used all the time. This was his daily driver for years.
Yeah, in Brooklyn. But then when we gave up that apartment in that garage, I brought it out to Ohio.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a place for this and all the tools.
Well, let's start at the beginning. What year? Let's paint the picture, because I was involved when you picked this thing up.
When we moved to Brooklyn, we started getting back into hot rods, and that's when we found that Dart.
We moved to Brooklyn in 2010. 5 of us shared a big old apartment in Williamsburg with a big, it was like a 2-car garage in the basement. And we packed it full of motorcycles and we raised all sorts of hell in there.
We pulled a rotary motor.
I had a Turbo 2 at the time. I pulled an engine off. We strapped a ratchet strap to a water pipe and we pulled it up and out of the car there. But Mike built this whole car there. And this car is super rad because it's just like, everything works. Nothing is super over the top, but it's just like very solid, very rad, not perfect, but super cool. I mean, it's a Challenger. It's the coolest car ever made, right?
You actually had me pull it out of the field.
I know, yeah. Yeah. So how many years later was that? 2016?
Yeah.
15. 2015, you found Craigslist. Here's the deal. Anytime I was going to drive across the country with a truck, I would tell all my friends, I still do this, hey, I'm driving across, start searching for whatever you feel like all over the country and we'll pick it up on the way over. If you have friends with trucks, this is a cool thing to do. And that's what we did. And you were like, I found this Challenger. What was the deal on it?
It was a rolling chassis. It was in bare metal and primer. The guy had just finished putting a floor patch in it.
Was there a motor in it?
There was a 360 on the mounts, but not connected.
Yeah. And what did you pay for it?
I think like somewhere around $6,000, which at the time seemed crazy.
Yeah.
I also had a Duster and a Dart and a Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
And I had to clear all those out to make room for this and a gang of parts. It was like your whole pickup truck full of parts, if you remember. There was a
what we got with this thing. Yeah, it was all pretty decent stuff.
727, a 360, a bunch of body parts.
Yeah.
It had the 73 front end on it still that I traded some guy. I feel like I robbed him.
So you brought it back to Brooklyn. It was in primer?
Barely. It was like metal and primer. So immediately tore it all completely apart. Tried to 415 the engine bay because I thought I was gonna just start putting it together. Realized that it didn't come out well. Brought it to a friend's body shop in Jersey. Madison Restorations. I think it was a Corvette restoration shop, but he does everything now. No, but he was great. He let me come there and like do all the prep work on it. I wasn't trying to get a show finish here. I just wanted to stop it rusting. I'm a mechanic.
Yeah. So the first thing you did was take it over there, strip it down, and bring it over?
I stripped it down in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And cleaned it out as best I could. Brought it there, sanded it. He sprayed it in this satin black to hide all the imperfections.
Yeah. You got this 70 front end.
I brought it back to Brooklyn, started putting it together, found a guy that wanted the 73 front end and had this and swapped it.
Is that guy out of his mind?
Yeah, he was. I felt like I robbed him the whole way.
You did rob him. You traded a guy a 73 Challenger front end for a 1970 front end. That's outrageous.
But yeah, then I found this 383 up in Albany and went and midnight one night, pulled it out of a ditch basically.
Yeah.
Brought it back.
What year is this 383?
64 out of a Plera.
Wow. Is that the first year?
Yeah,
it is, right?
Maybe, yeah, because it was the wet. Yeah. I thought I was just gonna pull the plugs, turn it over, get it going, and then I just started pulling sludge out of everything. So I took that valve covers off, and then the heads had to come off, then the bottom end came out. So we rebuilt this motor in the parking garage.
Yes, and a lot of the work was done in the apartment. You would take the elevator up.
Yep. Cleaning the heads in the sink.
And how far into it did you get? Did you do
everything?
Rings and everything, bearings, all that stuff?
I ball honed the cylinders with a drill.
Yep.
Put new rings and bearings in it. Then I bought a 4-speed. I was like, hell, I might as well swap it to 4-speed. Bought a 4-speed. It was a piece of crap with the gear like pretty much welded to the shaft. So I rebuilt that, learned how to do that. Yeah, put that together. I don't know.
But everything is
Every
pretty
single
low
nut and
plug.
bolt.
Everything is, he's been through like literally every nut and bolt in the whole car. The point is like, it's all very simple. It's just a ton of your effort and being super meticulous, but building a pretty rad car that's not over the top, but everything works. I've driven this car a bunch, everything works. It's got a super simple hydraulic clutch setup that you designed and made out of some bar stock.
Everything basically was done with hand tools. In the parking garage, we couldn't use a welder. I used a grinder very sparingly, but like we couldn't even really weld in there, so everything had to be done like just with hand tools.
So you built this entire thing in a Brooklyn garage, in a Brooklyn 2-bay garage under an apartment building in a very hip part of town. The entire thing, top to bottom. Building the motor, I know you...
The trans.
Everything. In there.
Rebuilt the rear end. Every nut and bolt has come on and off this car.
In downtown Williamsburg, right in the center of everything.
Right by the bridge.
Right by the bridge.
Anyway, let's see if we can get it started.
Yeah, it's been a while. Fire it up. Let's take it for a ride, I think.
Got oil pressure now.
Sweet. Fire it up. Behind the wheel of Mike's Challenger. You can see the interior is clean. Everything absolutely works. It's such a good, solid car. The tires don't work. See you. Things that you planted when you thought you got away. You say you were justified. We all just saw you lie. We've got it all on tape. Can't you hear what's coming around? Friend's car, and I'm driving it for the first time. I didn't even know. My foot slipped off the clutch, and I'm new to driving.
Feels good, right?
It feels great.
Mild cam, everything's like just one level above.
You got suspension work on here?
Got really big T-bars, some replacement shocks. Yeah. I shimmed the cone diff.
Shim the cone diff. So all the stuff. This is my point. Is like
all the little tricks.
You just spend an unbelievable amount of labor and man hours, and like a little, not a ton on crazy parts to make it.
No, I got headers and a manifold. I got a cheap Holley vacuum secondary carb for it, 750 Holley.
Yes.
Everything is just like mild.
You shimmed the differential.
Yeah, it was worn out, so you grind the cones down and then you shim it back. Locks up pretty good now.
That's what I'm saying. So you don't have to spend $1 million.
It's like all the little tricks.
You got suspension bushings in here. It feels, I mean, like it drives so straight.
Yeah, I got like beefy tie rod ends. I got like urethane tension rod bushings. Just like all little stuff. I got like the eccentric bushings for the upper control arms. Get a little caster in there.
Yep. It is a good driving car, man.
You know, like an X-pipe builder kit exhaust. But yeah, like rebuilt every single thing. The pump, the power steering pump, the brake calipers. There's literally not one nut or bolt I haven't touched inside and out on everything. Engine trans.
Such a good car.
I think there's 96 roller bearings in this trans that I figured out.
Yeah, you've been through all of them.
Yeah. Even like the shifter was completely apart, everything. Even the HVAC box, I like pulled that all apart and got all that gross foam out, replaced it.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely everything works in this car. It's
The one thing I will say, the wipers work, but they're on the heater switch, so the heater fan is the first position, and then the wipers are the second. I have the right switch, just haven't gone around to it yet.
Well, like this, Lucky Chevelle are like my two favorite cars that are mine, because like everything, they just have so much time in them that they're super dialed. His car has a ton of money in wild ass parts. Your car has the same amount of time in getting it figured out. It works for what it is. This car works incredibly well.
The whole idea was like just try to make up for like not spending a lot of money on it by just spending time and doing little tricks. That's why, you know, it's a blue collar big block. I picked up this engine.
Dude.
This engine was like $600 out of like some swamp in this guy's backyard.
Hell yeah.
We use a dingleberry cone and rings. I use like oven cleaner and our oven in our apartment to clean the valves and the heads and everything.
That's so good.
When I first got it running, there was so much rust in the engine that I wasn't able to flush out, I guess, that it clogged the radiator, and I took it to E-Town for its like debut.
Yeah.
And on the way back, it overheated every 5 miles because the radiator was fully clogged with all the like muck and rust and everything that was in the block that I thought I got, but once it heated up, it loosened all up. But sorted all that out finally.
I was gonna say, it hasn't gone over 170. We've been driving it for probably 20 miles. I've been giving it.
I think I got like some Jaguar fan clutch. I like, you know, all the little like nerdy secrets.
Yeah.
And it was like a night of a year of night and weekends in that parking garage. Just when I met my wife, just started dating her, I was like, oh yeah, you probably won't see me for a year. Wire wheeling all the rust off of everything. It was pretty nuts.